Hello, or am I audible?
Hello, Dr. Ittrat, you're audible loud and clear. Just
Okay,
fix
thanks a
video.
lot. Thank you very much. So I think so. Hopefully, we will start it within 10 minutes. That's it. Thank you.
Introducing Research Methodology 2025, your ticket to mastering research, brought to you by the Center for Learning and Teaching at Foreman Christian College University in collaboration with National Academy of Higher Education at the Higher Education Commission and the United Board. This isn't just another course. It's built around the renowned Vitae Researcher Development Framework, covering everything from deep subject knowledge to personal effectiveness, professional standards, and real-world impact. We are immensely grateful to our experts who have graciously offered their time and expertise in the spirit of knowledge equity. These experts are among the leading voices in their respective fields. And yes, it's 100% online and totally free, wherever you are in the world. Whether you're a postgraduate, early career researcher, or simply passionate about better research, this course is for you. Join us and be part of a movement for knowledge equity. Sign up now and unlock your research potential.
Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mehwish Raza. I am the Deputy Head of Center for Learning and Teaching. We welcome you all to today's webinar. I would request my colleague Gohar Ayub to run you through netiquettes, and then we are going to introduce our resource person for today's session, and we'll start it from there. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Dr. Mavish. I'll quickly go over the etiquettes for the session. You're all requested to please rename your Zoom accounts to the name of your university first and then your name afterwards. Please note that regardless you're joining through YouTube or through the Zoom, you're requested to fill out the certificate form, which will be shared every 10 minutes into the session. And you are requested to please write the name of your university, complete name. Please don't write UOL or UOK or something like that because it's difficult for us to track. And then when we send out the certificates, we are receiving a lot of emails that the name of university is not correct. So please adhere to the policies and then the correct email address as well. Please know that we are working on certification and we are sending out certificates, and it will take us around 8 to 12 working days for one webinar to send out the certificates. And please be patient and bear with us on this. The session will be recorded and all these recordings will be added to the CLT YouTube channel, and you can have free access. You're requested to please subscribe to these channels as well. We'll close the chat for the first 30 minutes, and after that we'll enable the chat, and you're all requested to please make sure that you ask the whatever you would write is related to the session, and please be sensitive and mindful regarding the chat as well. That's it from my side. Over to you, Dr. Mavish.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your interest. But when we open the chat, we expect to hear from you, the questions that relate to the content. We understand that you're waiting for the certificate. Our team is working on it. And within the regular frame of time that we give, we do issue certificates to all our participants. With that, I'd like to introduce the resource person for today's session. Very proud to introduce Dr. Itrat Batul Naqvi. She is an associate professor of statistics with over 19 years of teaching experience and 20 great research publications. Her academic interests lie in statistical quality control, data analytics, and data visualization using R. She is currently the principal investigator of a research project which is funded by IRIF, a European scientific agency. We have registrants for your session, Dr. Itrat, from over 40 countries across the globe, mainly representing countries from South Asia and the African region, Central Asia, and Europe. We had multiple inquiries concerning about today's session. People were really interested to know when are we hosting a session on data visualization. And we are so excited about featuring our own resource, from FC College University. And I hope that today's session will enhance your knowledge and understanding of data visualization. I again reinforce, when you ask questions, please focus on the content so that it benefits everybody else in the call. So over to you, Dr. Itrat. Just to brief you a little bit about the pattern, we would like you to conclude your presentation by 1:45, and then we will have a 15 minutes discussion with you, clarifying questions, and the audience would be able to post their questions in the meeting chat starting from 1:30 onwards.
Okay, thank you very much, Gohar and Mahvish, for such a wonderful introduction. So without wasting the time, as you restricted to me for the 45 minutes, oops, I will do. So anyhow, I will start it. Prior to my session, I would like to discuss, I'm audible, my dear? All of you? Okay. So prior to the session, I would like to say to my dear participants that if you have a prior knowledge about the R, as it was entitled that a data visualization with the R, so it's quite beneficial for you. If you have no knowledge and just blank about it, then it will be quite difficult for you to understand even the simple things. So it doesn't mean that you do need to attend it. You can attend it, but you have to do the extensive practice after that. And I tried my level best to explain the very simple things in a very quite simple manner as well. So we will start it. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. So I am Dr. Etrat here, Associate Professor, and here, okay. Attached to you, and as my wish has already introduced myself, so we just come to the point. So why we are intended to use this visualization aspect over there? As you know very well that this is the era of big data and huge information as terms of the data is pouring these days. Not it's within a few seconds you can say it's in the lightning speed. I would like to say you are collecting much and much data set. So there should be some way to paint that data set, to present that data set, and itself it's a challenge. Yes. But with thanks to God Almighty that there is a way at least to show it up with the data visualization. And why we are choosing the R. R is a free, sophisticated software. Like you can use the SPSS, so many other junctions you can utilize for that. But R is a free of cost and there is no other issues for that. So that's why we have chosen the R platform to showcase our data set. Now, we have to take the charts and graphs and maps for the big data set. And you see, it's matter of taking the information. Information, it's sort of data, certainly the numbers. And number stream can become from any discipline. Like if it's a literature, even though if it's a pure science, if it's a social science, so any kind of data set you can tackle it out in there and you can paint it out. There are, my dear, so many sophisticated ways, but I have chosen the very few over here with the big data set, which are already built-in function in the R. What is the built-in function over there? It's meant you do not need the extra effort. You do not need to call it upon from some other sources. You have already built in big data sets and you can see the trends and you can comply those trends with your own data sets. I'll let you know, being a statistician, like you see, the right person for the right job. So I will let you know that if you have such and such data set, so such and such technique is more sophisticated for you. Here, I have been choosing the two data sets for this very presentation. One is known as to be the Saratoga houses. It's having, you can see the how many observations, 1,728 observations with 16 variables. Majority are the quantitative, continuous, and discrete over there, but I've deliberately choose an academic data. It's also the built-in data set over there, which having the 397 observation for each of the 6 variables. So these are the quite big data set, but it's a merger of like qualitative and quantitative. See, you will see. These are the sources. You can get the slides so you can see them afterwards as well. So come to the point. What you are seeing over there, you will say it's nothing drastically different. Just the big data you are handling it by the scatter plot. Yes, you are quite right. It's just the scatter plot. And we are utilizing it, just the two variables, the two dimensions, the salary, and since the professors have done their PhD. But the data set is quite large, like the 397 observations as the salary data I have mentioned over there. What is then astonishing over here, Dr. Ithrat, you can ask over here. We can superimpose with a very simple and sophisticated way the categorical data on them. Like, this is just seeing you the trend. Yeah, it's a conic trend, and it is certainly comply with the expectation when the post-PhD experience of a professor is increasing, then the salary is going to be increasing. And you have a very broader conic trend over here. Yes, what is drastic here? Nothing, but we will see in the next over here. Yes, it's something pretty drastic over here. We are through the simple way, the coloring. Now, color will differentiating you the rank of the professors. Of the 397 professors, you have the assistant professor in the red colors, then the green are the associate and the full professor and the blue one. So in a one glance, even though A layman can let you know by seeing this observation that, okay, in the majority of the data set contain the professors, the full professors over here. Then one cognitive thirst, it comes again, and we would like to see how many males and females over there. And certainly you have such variables in your data set, then you can call the respective variable accordingly. What we started just the scatter plot in the previous slide, and then we just with the colors differentiating how many professors, how many associate professors, and how many assistant professors were there. Now we would like to explore according to the gender as well. See it over there. The triangular and the, it seems to be circles. The triangle shows to the male professors over there, and the female professors are by the circles. So now we are, in a very simple way, we are painting a very complicated aspect over here of the data. Like we are tackling the 4 variables at a time in the 2 dimension, that the salary, and since they have done their PhD, their rank, and their sex. So, for example, if I can say this, like this triangle is mentioning a male full professor because it's a blue, it's a triangle, and having 40 year of the post PhD experience with approximately $16,000 and $500,000 salary. So you see how it's easily you can interpret this triangular shape, blue color, respectively with their post PhD experience and the current salary. So this is the way when you have it, and usually we have it, the data set like the merger of the qualitative and the quantitative variables. I'm sure you people have a knowledge about that, the qualitative and quantitative variables. Just for my students' sake, I can describe it, that the qualitative usually refers to the categories, like the gender, the sex, the ranks. Sometimes it is like your ordinal, like assistant professor, associate professor, and full professor is certainly having the rank. And sometimes it's not having the ranks, it's like the male and female, irrespective of that, whatever you can write over there. And quantitative variables, you know, the salaries, the numbers, the year of the experience. So it is the merger of both. So with the grouping aspect in the R, we have very easily imposed this characteristics. These are the R codes over here. I would like to discuss it briefly with you very quickly because I have shorter of time. So we certainly know there are some packages and libraries, and kindly make it clear what is the difference between the package and the library. Package is the function containing different function, containing data sets, containing syntax, and library is basically the place where you'd like to save that package to utilize it for the future purpose, for the further purpose. So this line is just loading this particular package called ggplot2, and it will be used for the further creating the graphs. ggplot, it stands for the grammar of graphics. So whenever you are working for the visualization, hopefully you have to install ggplots, and the more meta package is known as tidyverse, which is already including the ggplot, plotly, tidyr, so many over there. So it is one of the sophisticated package ggplot which you need to be installed prior to your visualization aspects. Then the second line, you can see it in the code, it's data. Certainly you need to call the data. As I said, it's the built-in data set. So salary name is the data, and the package in which this data is containing is card data. And one more thing, my dear, this is the case sensitive language. R is a case sensitive language. If it's written CAR in the small cap, so you are liable to write into the small cap. You cannot say, oh, okay, I can write it. It's the first letter, so starting with the capital. No, you have to it's a case sensitive language. So it needs to be written like this, whatever it is built in. So car data has to be written over there, and it should be into inverted commas. It is a syntax to write it up. From this package, we are calling the salary data. So this line is doing this thing, which is containing this information, is the since the PhD they have done, and the salary of the professor, and the academic ranks, and their sex, and blah, blah, blah. So the next line, what it's did for you, you're giving the command of the ggplot, calling the data. What is the syntax for that? Ggplots, as I said, is the grammar of graphics. Then the small parenthesis, this is the syntax. First of all, you have to write the name of your data, whatever the name, whatever the file type, you have to write it over there. Then you need to define your axis. What you would like to take it along your x-axis, along your y-axis. And it's closing over there. Then it's allow us, the ggplot, it's a function which allow us to add some static with that. What the static you can add it, I will let you know into the next slides. So the geom point plus label, it is the continuation of the previous one. Like this plus is having now the geom points and the labels. You see, in the geom points, we did not put anything. It's just empty. And in the label, we were seeing to write up something. So when we did not want to see some static or to superimpose some things, then you will see just this sort of graph. It's just the scatter plot will be displayed for you with the command which I have been discussed with you. But if you would like to be superimpose few of the points over there, like the ranks and the sets or the new variables over there, so the full command should be like this, that the ggplot, the data, the axis. Now it will creating, you are saying that the rank variable has to be shown by colors, different colors. And these are the built-in colors, which has by default has to be displayed, which we have already seen, the blue, red, and green. And the sets is also the one of the categorical variable, and you would like to see it by different shapes. Again, I would like to say that the shape, circles, and the triangle are by default. Certainly you can change it, but firstly, I would like to recommend you to do the practice on the built-in function. When you will be expert, then you can change it. Now, this plus point now, what it's going to tell us. Geom points. We can play with the data and the style as well. The R allows us. Say the size of the point which has to be displayed, it's going to be 3. And alpha will be shown the transparency of the point. If you have more and more data set, for example, you have the thousands and data set, then they certainly have to be overlapped. To get rid of that overlapping and to see the clear view, you need the transparency. You do not need to opaque points to be displayed over there, and you can get rid about some of the trends. So to see the transparency, we have to give some pointing values over there. And then the labels, is the label will be displaying, is quite simple, but I'm sure you need the more explanation for the size and alpha. Size is having, like I said, it's the size of the circle and the triangles, the shapes. Again, the alpha arguments is doing for you, either it's transparent or opaque. So I think it's more to be clear over here. And what is the particular range for that? I will jot it down for you. The size can be the smallest from the first one, and it's the positive integer having going on and on. You can say if you have the few points, so you can take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever you want. But the recommended one is the 2 to 4 is the medium size. So I took 3, but it's not taking the decimal points, it's the integer value. You can start it from 1 and going beyond, but the medium is belongs to 2 to 4. Similarly, 0 stands for the completely transparent, you cannot see, and it's ranging from 0 to 1. It can take the decimal points. So 0.5 or 0.4 or 0.3 like this or 0.6, it seems to be it's fine, it's medium. So you see the range is over there. So likewise, you can play with that. So in a nutshell, what the graph was doing for us, x-axis is showing how many years, y-axis is showing the current salary, the color displaying the ranks, the shape displaying by the gender. So these 4 variables, the big data set, are carrying it out in this very graph. So what the grouping is basically doing for you, this is technically known as the grouping. What we did, we grouped different kinds of variable in that. There is more sophisticated to say that the grouping in faceting, but we will not go for the faceting over here. You did time shortage, you can try it for that. group is doing, the values of the first two variables are mapped to the x and y axis, and it's usually for the quantitative, continuous or discrete sort of variables. Then the additional variables are mapped to the other visual characteristics such as the color, size, and shape, and line type, and transparency. So these variables which we need to be superimposed on that, it has to be qualitative. Ordinal or nominal does not matter. So grouping allows you to plot the data for multiple groups in a single graph. So it's allowed to plot multiple variables in a single graph. Hopefully it's understandable for you. I will quickly go through the slides, then we'll be hands-on on the R. Now the second thing which we will see it over there, because it was just the scatter plot, and being a statistician, I would like go to beyond through my statistical knowledge as well. So we would like to see the bivariate relationship. Whenever we have to say the bivariate relationship and we want to paint a big data set into the bivariate relationship, firstly it comes our mind into the correlation. Correlation is the simple pairwise relationship between the set of quantitative variables. It does not mean that you cannot check the relationship between the qualitative variables, but there are different streams for that. I have chosen for this representation the quantitative variables and their correlation through the colors and shapes. Consider the Saratoga houses, which I have already been discussed, that it is containing the 1,728 observation with the 16 different variables, and majority are the quantitative variables we have. We will go for the Pearson product movement correlation coefficient matrix. So the matrix will be displayed for you, because in the prior years, when we did manually, so at a time we can just tackle the two variables. But here you will see the sophistication of the R and the knowledge of statistics collaboratively. What the amazing thing you can hand it over there. It's the scatter plot matrix. You are tackling 9 by 9 variables correlation at a time, more than 45. So the diagonal is said to be perfectly correlated. And as you have acknowledged that the correlation ranging from -1 to +1. Correlation is just checking the association between the two variables, the strength between the two variables, like the simple one. If we are saying that what is the relationship between the demand and the price? When the price will be higher of a particular product, the demand will be decreased. So there is a decreasing relationship, right? So decreasing relationship is going towards the -1, okay? And when we'll talk about the relationship between the supply and the price, when the price of a product is going to be higher, then on the entrepreneur side, certainly the supply will be high for that particular product. So there is an increasing relationship between the supply and the price. So it's going upward. And you see both are, the triangular are the quantitative variables like this. So one is showing by the perfect red color, and it's saying that the perfect correlation between the two variables. Whenever we will say it's point -9, it does not mean that there is a weak correlation. It's meant for that there is a strong negative correlation. So the value is referring over there, not the magnitude, my dear. Negative does not meant for the weak correlation. The weak is correlation showing for the 0.05, 0.04, like this. But through the visualization aspect, see, the blue colors are showing towards the negative relation, and the lighter blue and the whiter colors are showing to the weak correlation, whereas the red color are showing to the, or pinkish or the peach you can say, are showing towards the positive correlations over there. And we can see the numerical observation. When we go for the hands-on practice, I'll let you know. So these are the codes for that. We will run it through that to the R within a moment. And it's a practice for you. You will see this display after running these codes, and you will go through the codes. Now, there was the Scatter plot we have discussed with the different variables, then purely quantitative variables. Somebody can ask if we have the all qualitative variable, how we can go through with that. Yes, there are so many sophisticated ways. I can give you the example like you have it, the Titanic data, for example, well-known data, the Titanic data, the gender of the people who were traveling through that ship, the how many were died or how many were survived, and how many of the sex, like the children's, the adults, the women, the men, and you can say the pre-class, the passenger class, where they will be sitting over there, so many. But so many variables we have the qualitative variables. So how we can paint the qualitative variables, and it's a quite significant variables over there. Every variable is quite significant because the life and death stands over there. So we would like to paint the qualitative variables. So there is a one sophisticated way is the mosaic plot. You can search it for that. And now, due to the time constraint again, I will go for the multiple things and merger of statistics. I will let you know what is the multiple linear regression and how we can see the graphs to assess the model. So I would like to stop sharing this of the slides and would like to share with you my R console, R studio, to run up all these codes with you to understand the things. I hope you are seeing my screen. Yes. Now, as I talk about the libraries, so it's a better idea to run it library prior to that. This is the input window, you can say. This is the RStudio. It's having 4 windows over there. One is known as to the input window. One is known as to be the output window. One is known as to be the displaying window. This is the displaying window. And here you will get the environment, the global environment information about your data set, what you have launching over there, the different variables. So we need to install 2 libraries respectively. Then we will call the data set as we have discussed prior to that. We would like to see how many variables over there. So with the view command of the respective data name, you can see it out. V should be capital. As I told you, it's a case sensitive. So VIEW view the salaries. When you run it up, you will see a pop-up window over there. It's showing the rank, the discipline, the years since they have done PhD, and blah, blah, blah. So we will get rid about that and go to the plotting sense. Now we would like to plot the first very graph which we have seen into the presentation, that it's the experience versus salary. When we are giving the hashtag, it means to be the your comment, and comment will not be executed. With the hashtag, you can see you can write so many comments for your sake, because after some time you will forget what this library meant for, what this salary meant for. So you can like here hash and write salary is like the data, for example. And for your sake, you can write so many comments over there. So I will write it, the plotting over there, the experience versus salary, and the ggplot, it's going to be run it over here. And you see there is the stance of the scatter plot on the right window, which was not drastically giving us many information, just the XY coordinate plane with the salary and the year since they have done PhD. But now with the power of GG, grammar of graphics, we can impose different things. Through the colors, we are seeing now the bifurcation among the associate, assistant, and full professor. And then we will run it out for the more sophistication. We will fulfilling our thirst, cognitive thirst, that we would like to see the gender. So you see, here is the gender as well displaying, and as we have described it priorly, the codes with you. Now, the second one which we have seen was the correlation matrix. It will be displayed for you. And the correlation matrix, you would like to install the 2-3 libraries prior to that is the Mosaic data. Mosaic data is certainly in the package of Mosaic data. Package is meant for different functions and data sets, and library is just the place where we would like to store that package. Then we are storing it out for the further use. ggplot seems to be the correlation, grammar of graphic correlation plot. So for the matrix plot, we need to install this very package. Do not worry about this warning message. It's just a warning. There is a difference between the warning and the error. Warning is just say, if you will go through this warning, it's quite good for you. If will not, then there is no harm. But the error meant for you cannot go beyond that until you have to remove it. So there is not certain errors we are occurring over there. It's just giving me the caution that I need to be install the new version of R. But you need to get rid about that and run it again. When the output window ceases to be blue, then it's mean it's perfectly fine. It will be working for you. And the warning message can be get rid, my dear. Again, you can see it out for the warnings for ggplot and the deploy. So we can run it again. Now we are calling the data from the Mosaic data package. Saratoga houses is the data name. And as I said, it's the case sensitive. So S is capital and H is capital over there. And there is no space between them. So likewise, we have to write it up and run it. And we'd like to see the variables, how the data looks like. We'll see the view of that, the price, lot size, age, land value, blah, 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 blah. It seems to be more of the quantitative data set. And as I said, that the correlation matrix is the Pearson product movement correlation will display the correlation between the two quantitative variable at a time. So you cannot check for the qualitative variable through GG core plot. It does not mean that you cannot check for the qualitative variable. There are certain ways like the chi-square association test to check it out for the qualitative variables. But we are not displaying it here for the qualitative variable. We will go for the quantitative ones firstly. And here we are storing. DF is just the arbitrary name of my file where I would like to store my Saratoga houses data set, and I'm selecting it out. Select if is it numerics or not. If it's a qualitative variable, it will not choosing those variables which are qualitative. That will be just choosing the select if key command. Say it will be just choosing those variables which are in numeric nature. So we are storing it out into the DF. It's just the arbitrary name. You can write it up by yourself. It can be any name over there. I have chosen the DR. Then I would run it for the R and the very simple, you see, command COR core. Just the core will work it for you under the GG core plot. Will display the entire matrix around and calculate the R for you. You see it's going to be blue, but you are not seeing any display over here. Not, I said it will be calculated. Okay, so where are the calculation gone? It is stored into the R. If you would like to see your calculation, you just choose the R and run it again and see the output window will display the correlation matrix for you. But it's the numerical display of that, as well as it's disturbing us that there are so many decimal points. So we can round it the decimal point until 2 and see. It's more sophisticatedly displaying over here. Then the GG core plot will display now. You see? It's displaying the correlation plot on the right side. You can see it up over here. But being a statistician, we would like to see to impose the numerical entities over here. how much the association numerically displaying over there. For example, is the estimation that this red is going to be, seems to be a very strong correlation over there. It's the red color, it's more closer to the red. And this blue is more closer to the blue. So it seems to be a negative correlation. It's just the estimation which can vary from person to person. Certainly, this estimation through the color is quite good. I'm saying it's right. But when we will impose the numerical entities on that, you see, and I would like to zoom it up for you. Hopefully, you are not seeing it up, and I can show you into the other window. You have it. It's been gone. This is R. It's over there. So I would like to share here. So here you can see the entire correlation plot with the numerical entities as well. Yes, our estimation was quite good. We said that is the strong correlation. I mean, if it's more value than 0.5, then it seems to be a good or strong correlation. It's higher than even 0.7. So we are having a very strong correlation between the living area and this very variable. Similarly, we are having a negative correlation between the bathrooms and the age or this very variable. And likewise, as I stated, when you have the whiter color, it seems to be the weak correlation. So the line value and the IEGR seems to be the weakly negatively correlated because it is minus 0.02. So I would like to go again for our console. Here. And then likewise. And very quickly, just I know just 2 minutes are left for my edge. So very quickly, I will go for the multiple linear regression and we will see the trends over there for the, and I'm assuming that you have an idea about the regression. So in the regression, we have it, one explanatory variable, and if we have the one independent variable like explanatory variable and one dependent variable, it is known to be the simple linear regression model. Like the output of a student is based on the how much time he or she spent for the studies. So time spending is the independent variable and the grades or the marks is the dependent variable. Simple as that. Likewise, when we are talking about more and more independent variable, like how much time he or she spent, how much, what is the teacher-student interaction, what is the IQ level, what are the course content, how much, and blah, blah, blah. So likewise, you are posing for the multiple linear regression. And there are certainly some limitations, some diagnostics to check it out, those assumptions. And here in the multiple linear regression, visualization aspect, as I would like to talk about just the visualization aspect. So I will go quickly for that visualization aspect. Here I'm just putting the linear model. Price is my dependent variable and tilde sign for belongs to all my independent variables over here. And I'm getting the summary for that. You see, we can display the summary and discuss it. But after that, it's the plotting. So for the plots, you see here, I would like to see, there is a hit command. The first graph on the right side you are seeing is the residual graph. The first four more assumption for us to check the residual versus fit is linearly related. So this trend is showing a linear relationship. This is the visual aspect I said, which I would like to discuss into the multiple passion. over here. And it is the linearly related patterns we can around see for the red line. Half the points approximately over the line and half the below. Very quickly, I can see the Mavish over here. So the second graph is showing to the normality. We would like to assess the normality of the response variable. You see, if it's this dotted line is the true line, and the black line is basically your observations. If your observations around the true line, then it's meant for normality. If it's away from that, then there is not to be a normal distribution for the response variable. Although we are seeing some of the trend over here, like at the edges, at the end, it's going to be bulk sign over here, but approximately 90% points are falling along with the line. So we can say it is normally distributed approximately. But certainly there are some ways to transform it and blah, 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 blah. So many other things over there. The next, the visual aspect is the scale. Scale and location. It see the homoscedasticity. What does it mean? It see the equal variability of the variables which you are including in your multiple linear regression. I know it's not easy for the people who have no idea about the regression, but I would like to cover the multiple things into the statistical aspect. So that's why I have chosen this very presentation. Multiple linear regression with the big data set, and we can see it out that this red line has to be along the horizontal axis and has to be on zero scale, but it is touching it over there. You can see the zero, but slightly diverting. So homoscedasticity, certainly we cannot get equal variability with the new inclusion of the variables. We cannot certainly get, but approximately we can say it is, yes, there is an equal variability and homoscedasticity over here. Then the fourth plot is known to be the Cook distance, and it's quite, rather than the numerical aspect, we have to go for the visualization aspect. You see this point, the dotted lines here and here and here, and here is needs to be the Cook distance. Cook distance is the numerical entity, but if your plot is within these limits, like the dotted line on the right top and the left extreme vertical line, then it seems to be there is no inferential point in your data set. I'm sorry for the people who did not get through with that due to the lack of multiple regression knowledge, but I would like to cover for those who having the knowledge of the R and statistics. Hopefully they will get and attain very much. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Mavish. So over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Itra. This was such an engaging exploration of data visualization in R. And trust me, I'm a qualitative researcher. Even I could follow what you're saying. But yeah, I do understand when participants say that, there should be different sessions on how to operate in R and then how to, do the background work before you're actually placing the data in there. So we have an overwhelming response by the participants. Firstly, thank you. There's massive appreciation pouring in through comments and some questions that, and I'm going to categorize the questions. Just talking to the participants who have posted questions on technical aspects about R and visualization tools, those of you who are asking for a comparison, those of you who are asking for how to download it, which software is better for plotting data, we strongly encourage you to please use Google or any sort of AI. Maybe DeepSeek can draw a very good comparison of different tools. So I'm not going to take the technical questions of this sort where you're asking about cracking code. R is a free software. You can access it. Let's focus on the content and let's focus on its integration and research. So Itra, the first question that I'm going to ask you is that, what role can AI play in writing codes for R? And is it valid? What kind of implications would it have? Let's talk about all of that.
Exactly. I do recommend, my dear, without hesitating, I do recommend please utilize the AI tools. And for the people who have a prior knowledge, it's a very good junction because they are not copy pasting it up. And like me, if I have a few knowledge about the statistics, and when I said to the chat GPT or Gemini or DeepSeek or like free junctions, Copilot, that please write the codes for this sophisticated things, then I can check it out. Oh, the assumption is not fulfilling. So then I ask it again, why didn't you take this assumption? So take this assumption along with that. I just meant if you have a prior base and knowledge of a particular content, then I do recommend please use the AI tool. It will help you out. And if you are a teacher, then do that. How I integrated AI tool in my courses, like I have taken the data visualization course. It's a 300 level course. And in the class activity, I said to the students even, please open it out and use the AI junction and you do this critical analysis of this blah, blah, blah. And with the R codes, ask the R codes, ask your ambiguities over there and discuss with me. So they learned a lot through that way. Do not just say, yaar, copy paste karke le aao or give me the assignment. It's not the way on the student edge. You just engage them into the different activities, into the class, and with the interactive session, I think so on the student edge, you can engage them through the AI tools as well. And for the researcher, I do recommend, please, you have an idea about your research, your objectives. So accordingly, you can modify it to the AI. So kindly do use it up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Itrat. Now that we are talking about these things, do you think that there is any way that people can refer to any evaluative checklist or any tools that can test the codes that are produced by Gen AI?
My dear, the same thing, I will refer it over here. If you have a bit of the knowledge, so certainly you can, there are junctions like Coursera or the data camp. You have to take the basic level courses, A levels, B level courses. At least you have the prior and basic knowledge of that. Then you have to utilize such free sort junctions, not totally blindly rely on that. uh, I'm not saying I'm much expert, but I am having a file folder on my desktop where I am storing the mischiefs of the AI in codes and the concepts because I have some prior knowledge for that. So please take some courses from the authentic sources, from the authentic universities, and then you can go beyond. Not prior to that, please.
Thank you so much. We have a question from an international participant. They're asking, how does one manipulate missing data in our studio?
Yes, my dear, there are so many packages which have to be utilizing the missing data. You can, firstly, being a statistician, I can let you know, you can impute the data set. But the usually people were dead. If it's less than 10%, they said, okay, we can get rid about it. We can exclude the data set. I do not recommend to exclude the data set because it will be increase your beta error. Beta error is the type 2 error, which is more dangerous into the research. And do not exclude, it will be diminishing your power of the test, whatever the tool you were applying for that. So do not exclude the data, handle it with the imputation techniques. There are multiple imputation technique. On a one click, you can get it into the R, like mean imputation, regression imputation, multiple imputations. So I think do not kindly get rid of the data.
Thank you. So just an extension of the same question. If there is overlapping data, right now we just talked about the missing fields.
Exactly.
What about the situation where the data is overlapping? How do we address that in R?
My dear, if it's overlapping, for example, can due to some obviously error, it can be most probably due to some error. We have to check it out that error through the simple cross tabs, you can see tables and you can explore them. Okay, it's going to be overlapped over there. What to do? But if it is naturally overlapping, so it's the constraint, we have to deal it. And this is our constraint and limitation, because utilizing these parameter under these setting, we got such kind of data set. So overlapping needs to be tackled certainly by different ways if it's by mistakenly done. But if it's by default, the nature of the data set, so this is goes to the limitations.
Thank you. We have another question in which they're asking that in different research articles, authors sometimes mention data available on request. Do you think that new researchers should access these open data sets and play with them to learn machine learning, prediction, and making informed inferences? Is it a good idea or not?
It is very good idea, my dear. It is very good idea. You have to mail to the corresponding researcher. Certainly, it is your public property when it's published. So you have to access the data through the certainly your author. You mail them. You can easily access the data set, even though if you have not accessed the data set. So by writing a simple command into the R prompt like data and small parentheses, DATA, data and small parentheses, you can see the number of different set data sets that are freely available on the R platform. So you can play even those data sets. There are numbers and numbers of data sets already built in functions into the R through different libraries, through the baseline. So you can go for that. Firstly, I think so it will be quite fruitful for you.
Thank you so much. Itrak, we have so many questions and inquiries about if there are any open sources where people can learn how to operate our software and to learn more about its functions. Do you have
Yes,
anything in mind which you can share with the participants?
my dear, free junction, I said, yes, ChatGPT is the way, but not right way. I said Coursera is the quite good junction. DataCamp is a quite good junction. You have to, because HEC, last time I heard, HEC freely opened it for the researchers and the students that they can enroll it into the Coursera, I think so, and they can get the free courses of different sort of research methodologies. And I'm quite sure there are few of them for the R-based learning courses. So you have to keep in touch for such things, my dear, and take the courses from the authentic source, please, because it's if you have no idea, so you are developing the knowledge, you are fundamental stage aapki, so please do not get rid about it. You have to take it the courses from some authentic source, then go beyond.
All right. The last question here is it possible to adjust the point sizes in a plot for different qualitative categorical variables using geom point?
Yes, sir. As we did it, like we were putting the three, and I said, is the range starting from 1 till 5 plus. So 5 plus is going to beyond 10, 20, 31. But when you have more and more data set, it will be quite bigger and merging, and it will be fail the visualization aspect. So I do recommend you have to use between 2 to 4, as I did 3. So you can utilize it for 2, 3, 4, 5, likewise.
Thank you so much. All the participants who are asking for relevant literature, I strongly suggest that you use Google Scholar and Elicit
Yes,
to find literature in your specific discipline that can help you in answering queries of your own context. So,
exactly.
Itra, this brings us to the end of this webinar. Awesome webinar. Thank you for such great insights on our package. And just to let you know, this is a good representation of how successful the outreach of this webinar had been. We have participation from 76 countries,
Wow.
representing all the regions of the world. with the next, even we have a participant from US and Canada as well. So you have a representation from North America as well. And from South America as well. So awesome. Congratulations on this. And all of you who are asking about about a webinar on SPSS, or you're asking for a comparison between R and SPSS. For you, I want to reinforce that tomorrow we have the webinar on SPSS, and our resource person is in this webinar as well. So looking forward to your session, Dr. Shami, tomorrow, inshallah, Pakistani time. You have the flyer, and you should, if you haven't registered yet, you can still join us in tomorrow's session, and let's together explore SPSS for quantitative analysis. Thank you again for your insightful session, Dr. Itrat, and your active participation. To all the participants, I'd like to thank you a lot for taking a keen interest in what the presenter is saying and relating your questions to the content only.
Thank you very much, Mavish. Dr. Mavish, I would like to say one more thing. If the person having a very much query related to the topic, still they have ambiguous, they can mail it to you, and you can forward it to me, or you can give my email, and I can, inshallah, respond it to timely. Thank you very much. Stay blessed.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
a
I
lot.
think with your consent and permission, we are going to include your email ID for the participants to contact you and to seek help. That's very generous of you, and really appreciate it. So with this, we come to an end of today's webinar. Thanks again for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.